All right, thanks, guys. You know, whether it's every day or just on a bad day, we all feel stressed at work, right? That happens. It just happens. Dana Sharfala from the VincentBenjamin Agency is joining us this morning with 5 key tips so that it's not so stressful at work. Because sadly, you can bring that stress home, and that's when it can get really, just bad, not just for you, but for your family as well.
Absolutely.
Where do we start with? These days, we feel so overwhelmed, right? We're doing 10,000 things at work.
I would say the main thing to start with, honestly, and it's hard to do sometimes, but it's delegating tasks.
Okay.
So if you've got a team, whether you have your own team or you just have teammates around you, figuring out who does what and who does what best, being able to disperse the things among your team and put your trust in your team to make sure that you're all getting everything you all need to get done.
Okay, and it makes sense because a lot of times we don't want to probably ask for help, right?
So hard. So hard.
Okay, so delegate tasks is your number one key there. Second, I know that technology and other things, it's always changing, it's always evolving. What can you do with that to help improve the stress?
Well, I think one thing that sometimes can get us stressed is not knowing where our future lies at our job and in our career. And so I think always learning and studying and knowing what's going on in our industry and how can I make sure that I'm ahead of the curve so that I know I'm going to keep my job in 3, 4, 5, even 10 years. And putting trust in yourself to learn as much as you can to be an asset, I think definitely eases stress.
That can only improve your credibility and also what your value, right, with your workplace.
Yeah.
All right, we often hear about vacation and European countries that take tons of vacations, but us Americans, we always hear, are overworked.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think the biggest thing is that we get PTO, we get vacation days, but most of us do not use them. And I think the biggest reason we don't is because we're worried, how's my employer going to view me if I'm using every single one of my vacation days, right? I shouldn't have to take a vacation from my job if I love it, right? But in fact, studies beyond studies show that when we take a vacation and when we unplug, we feel good and we come back to work refreshed and ready to go.
All right, that makes sense too. So you heard it from Dana, take vacation, tell your boss that. Mentoring is also, I know, another way to improve yourself. How important is that in reducing stress?
Well, I think a lot of times at work, we have a lot of things that are going on and relationships that we're having a hard time with that sometimes we can't talk to our spouses and friends about because they just don't get it. And so finding someone, I think, in your industry or even someone that you just really look up to, who as a professional, who can give you unbiased advice and give you the guidance you really need to look at it in a different way, I think can definitely help.
Okay, that makes sense too because, sometimes we need another perspective or need the advice of someone in our field, and you can take it that way. Your last tip I love because I think this not only applies to decreasing stress, but overall happiness, and you're talking about having gratitude.
Absolutely. I think it's one of those things that we see everywhere. On Facebook, on Twitter, everywhere, people say have gratitude, but I think actually doing it and making it a mindful practice every morning, even at lunch, but thinking about when you're having a stressful day, taking 5 minutes and just saying, what are the things I'm truly grateful for in my life right now? And even at my job, what do I like about my job? And placing your focus on the things you're grateful for can increase your happiness and definitely decrease stress.
All right, looking at the positive instead of the negative. I love that. Dana, thank you so much. And that's what they do at the VincentBenjamin Agency, is helping people, of course, get into the jobs, getting into the right jobs as a consulting firm as well. So we appreciate all the advice.
You're welcome.